Good morning, Ms. Pavliv and class. Today, me and Albert will be presenting our presentation on the Great Barrier Reef. Albert, what is the Great Barrier Reef?
The Barrier Reef is the world's largest reef system, which consists of 2,900 individual reefs with over 900 islands covered with them stretching across 344 by 400 square kilometers. The location of this vast wall of blockage is in the Coral Sea at the coast of Queensland, Australia. What makes it different from other ecosystems, Aldrin?
Its unique extension of latitude expresses a soothing shallow shore and into deep dark twilight waters. Within the vast expanse are a unique range of marine ecosystems, habitats, and a wild variety of marine life, which makes it one of the most complex natural ecosystems on the planet. What are the sustainability and economic benefits?
This beast takes up about 10% of the world's coral reef ecosystem. Its neighboring home is Australia, which is also known as a sea country. More than 70 traditional owners, groups whose connection to the marine environment date back tens of thousands of years. Nowadays, the reef has become a marine park and historical heritage sites for the world's tourists to see. It is also an economic powerhouse which contributes billions of dollars to the Australian economy each year, with around 64,000 full time jobs. What are the effects of pollution, Ojin?
Once sediment and other pollutants enter the water, they smother coral reefs. They can speed the growth of damaged algae and lower its quality. Polluting also make coral reefs susceptible to disease and can cause changes in food structure on the reef. Plastic can also cause some of the marine life inhabitants on the reef, sea turtles, to think it's food, try to eat it, and that can cause them to choke and possibly die. What are the relating ecological factors, Albert?
Different factors we as a class discussed together have all affected the reef, including the ocean's large role as a carbon dioxide tank, atmospheric changes, ultraviolet light rays, oceans acidification, and viruses, which end up bringing dust and debris for storms. Algal bloom also can occur, and the reefs are threatened beyond their regulated environment. What are some abiotic and biotic factors, Aldrin?
Great Barrier Reef has countless different abiotic and biotic factors that are crucial for the survival of the ecosystem. Abiotic factor which influences the Great Barrier Reef is sea temperature. Sea temperature is extremely important for aquatic ecosystems, and especially for the Great Barrier Reef. Corals need warm water to live and grow, but if the water temperature becomes too high, it can cause coral mortality, and many different species will need to move south for cooler temperatures. Some biotic factors we will talk about for now are plants and bacteria, which are major biotic factors on the barrier reef. Bacteria act as decomposers for this ecosystem and break down organic matter and convert it into energy that can be used by other living organisms in the ecosystem. Albert, what are the nutrient cycles in the barrier reef?
Inside the Great Barrier Reef contain a type of photosynthetic algae called zooxanthellae, and it helps the coral process nutrients and that coral becomes a habitat for the algae. This is also a sign of mutualism, which both the algae and coral benefit. There is a unique example as the coral reef has its own type of cycle, which is called the reef sponge loop. It first starts off as the sponges on coral reefs absorb the large quantities of dissolved organic carbon, which include small molecules of carbohydrates that are released by seaweed for the reefs to collect in forms of cellular debris. And as in a tropical environment as the reef is in, this looping process is the main source of their biodiversity and immense production, which go through different cycling pathways. And in these pathways, encrusting sponges recycle dissolved organic matter, or DOM, into particulate detritus. And that is the end of our presentation.
And to get into more depth about the last slide, me and Albert decided to make a homemade water filter, which is going to relate to the sponge cycle because after recycling all the nutrients for the coral. The sponge also has a byproduct of intoxicating the waters with toxic chemicals. So this water filter is supposed to be an example of cleaning that water, and so I decided to add some gravel, sand, and charcoal, and to use it as a water filter to filter the water. And this is our presentation. Thank you.